Vinyl Community, I'm back to do sort of a different video this time. I'm gonna do a review of the new Blue Note 80s classics and one tone poet, because I only got one. Yeah, so here's my take on that. Now, if you don't want a ridiculous, incompetent review like this one, go to Michael's channel, because he is the Yoda of audiophile pressings. This German dude has a collection of audiophile pressings that is just to die for. And he talks about these records much better and compare them and do all the sort of the dance. He does the dance. So check out his channel. If you want my take, continue on. Okay, so starting from the beginning, a couple of months, 4 months ago maybe, I started to update my equipment a little bit. As you can see here, I got a hi-fi rack to put everything in. And this is the important thing, I got a new phono stage with external power amplification. And it's custom built by a guy here in Sweden, so it's handmade and it's fantastic. It was pricey, but damn worth it. It just opened up everything. I got new speaker cables, a little bit expensive. A little bit better speaker cables. And Diana's fine art. Now, I also changed my setup. So my speakers are over there now. They were there before, which makes the sweet spot placed right where the camera is actually. And all of these changes has made my system sound like nothing before. It's almost like listening to music from the start. And it didn't sound bad before. It's just like, it was like, you know, pulling a curtain or something like that. Just the music opened up really. So that being said, maybe 3 months ago. Hey, katten. Ah! I went out on Facebook and minded other people's business like we all do. I noticed that a guy is selling like metal records and hard rock records and 2 Blue Note records for some reason. I see that it's reissues. So I asked him for links and he sent them, and it turns out to be some sort of new series called 80s Anniversary or Classics, whatever. I had no idea about it. I knew that Blue Note had been putting out something called the Tone Poet series. And I've ranted about that before because I got Shikoria's Now He Sobs, Now He Sings, or Now He Sings, Now He Sobs, for next to nothing in great quality. So I didn't understand why you would buy Tone Poets for like 35, 38 euro. But it doesn't matter. Now, these ones, they are hailing these as the best sounding versions that they ever heard of these records. So it sparks my interest, but I think like 12, 15 euros that he wants in used shape, I'll get them. I can sell them. So I order them from him and I get them home, put it on the turntable, drop the needle, and my mind is blown. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still a collector of original pressings and or early pressings. That's what really makes my heart tick. When it comes to collecting records, I get that sort of tingling in my belly when I get a first or early pressing of a record. I want it to have lived its life before it goes into my collection. But that being said, Blue Note records, original pressings, early pressings, some of them are stupidly expensive. And sure, I could get those instead of 20 other, and this really sparked my interest. And as I said, I dropped the needle and my mind got blown. I couldn't really research the other ones fast enough. How many have they put out? Which titles are they putting out and have put out? So I read, and I started ordering. And in 2 or 3 months now, I've got 12 of the Classics and 80s series and 1 Tone Poet. And I'm going to show you those now. And my small opinion about these records and the music. So let's start with the Dexter Gordon that I got from this guy. The first one is Doing All Right with Freddie Hubbard, Horace Paul, and George Tucker, and Al Harewood. Fantastic session, not the best, but fantastic Blue Note record by Dexter Gordon. Not my favorite saxophonist, but he's doing all right. A Swingin' Affair is a better record, a better session. His playing is better on this one, in my opinion. Sonny Clark, Butch Warren, and Billy Higgins backing him up. Great record. Unfortunately, a Steam split, but I got them really cheap, and this is where it started for me. Then I went bananas. The next one I got, and this is highly recommended if you're going to start somewhere, is Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers with Freddie Hubbard, Wayne Shorter, Curtis Fuller, Cyril Walton, and Jimmy Merritt. I mean, that lineup. Bahina's Delight. Sound quality wise, fantastic. It's just like to die for. And I think that's still in print. You can get it for like 19, 20, 21 euros, something like that. And you won't regret it. It's one of the best Art Blakey records that I've encountered. A fairly new one is this Moaning by Art Blakey. And I think that they actually did the original artwork on this. People are complaining because the vertical Art Blakey and Jazz Messengers that they did, I think later on, like on the second press or the stereo or something like that. I think they did this first. But of all the records that I'm going to show you, this is actually the one that sounds worst of the best. The best of the worst. Worst of the best. I have a 2009 reissue that sounds okay. But compared to this, that sucks. Like, it sounds crap. And I've listened to it and I streamed it to my equipment. And Tidal, Cobus, Spotify, everything sucks compared to this. And this is the least best sounding record of the bunch. It's that good. One that I didn't think I needed in my life, but I did, was Open Sesame with Freddie Hubbard, Tina Brooks, McCoy Tyner, Sam Jones, and Clifford Jarvis. And this is the best Freddie Hubbard record I've heard. I didn't know this existed. I sampled it online, ordered it right away, and I don't regret that because it's the bomb. And the best sounding record of the ones is actually this, and I think that Michael talked about this in his videos, so maybe I'm colored of his opinion on it. But Soul Station, Hank Mobley with Art Blakey, Wynton Kelly, and Paul Chambers. This sounds 11 out of 10. Next one got two Herbie Hancock records, Inventions and Dimensions with Paul Chambers. Yeah, not his best, but really interesting. And his playing back there in the early day is really interesting. I think I probably would rather put this on than any of the fusion stuff that he did later on. But it's almost like comparing apples and pears, isn't it? The first session he did for the solo session for Blue Note is this, Taking Off, where you have Freddie Hubbard, Dexter Gordon, Butch Warren, and Billy Higgins. And this is a must. This is also one that I recommend you to buy the first thing you do if you're going to invest in some of these. And this is also one of those that I didn't need. I didn't know that I needed this. I didn't know much about Pete LaRocca. I sampled it, blew my mind. His playing is up there with all those big names like Art Blakey, Tony Williams, and Elvin Jones, etc. But Joe Henderson, Steve Kuhn, and Steve Swallow. This is, of all the records I've shown you now, this is one of the absolute best ones. Highly recommended. Get it. One of my favorite players on Blue Note is Andrew Hill. So I got Smokestack, Richard Davis, Eddie Kahn, and Roy Haynes. And of all the Andrew Hill records I've heard up to now, this is the worst one, but it's still a 9. His playing is amazing. So I still need to find an Andrew Hill record that isn't a masterpiece. Like that's almost like a challenge to find something with Andrew Hill that isn't a masterpiece. Joe Henderson, In and Out, also a big, huge classic with Kenny Dorham, Richard Davis, and Elvin Jones. Great sounding. And the last one, and I mean, talking about classics, Speak No Evil with Wayne Shorter, Freddie Hubbard, Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, and Elvin Jones. This is 11 out of 12. One of the best Blue Note records, jazz records ever recorded. And it sounds perfect. To die for, like really. And this is the repress, because this was put out and sold out, and they repressed this. I got this just 2-3 weeks ago. I had it on back order because Blue Note has assured us that the 80s classic and Blue Tone Poet releases are going to be in print. So just put your order in, sit tight, and wait for it to arrive in your mailbox. Like really. They are going to put them out again. Now, comparing this with the Tone Poet, what do you get? So all of these are like 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 euros, maybe. With a Tone Poet, you pay 35, 36, 37, something like that. And what do you get? Because all of these Tone Poet Classics 80s are mastered by Kevingray, pressed at Palace, I think with the Tone Poet on Palace. I may be wrong, but one of the best pressing plants in the world, and it's in Germany. And you have the jackets with the Tone Poet. It's Stoughton jackets. That's a thing in this sort of circuit. Those are a thing. I don't know with the 80s and classics where they are made, but yeah, great quality. Now the record, you get the same. You get a little bit of a better inner sleeve, but it's 180 gram. It's the best sounding thing you ever hear. Dead quiet, high fidelity, deep grooves. So for 15 euro, you get a better jacket, better high quality jacket, high gloss, thick cardboard, gatefold. I mean, the shit, really. Is it worth the 15 euros more? Yes, if you're interested in the record in that session. Definitely worth the 35 euro price tag. Is it better sounding than the 80s and the classics? No, I don't think so. Maybe a little bit, but then again, you get the best sounding thing you've ever heard for 20, 21, 22, 23 euros. It's just like insane. What I think is, in a time where you press one-step records, you pay $100 for one record in a box. It's limited edition, sells out like this, and you can put a 0 after the price tag just 2 weeks after it's released if you want to sell it. That's kind of cool. I mean, we're talking about one way of collecting records to get that best sound quality and quality that you can get. And I get it. I mean, I understand those who buy those records. But what this proves, in my opinion, is that you can take fantastic original masters, analog tapes, and put them in the hand of a fantastic master engineer and press them at a perfect pressing plant with high quality covers for next to nothing, like compared to what you pay otherwise, next to nothing, like ordinary vinyl prices, 22, 23 euro. I mean, that's insane. For Kevingray material, that price tag just proves that you don't have to pay $100 to do or put out issues that costs $100 to get them, you know, to get them in that quality. It's a good time right now to be a jazz collector of vinyl records. Let's put it at that. And just to finish this off, I've never had a subscription to a vinyl service, you know, like Vinyl Me Please. I want it, but the shipping costs to Sweden is just too high. And to be fair, the releases are just so. What I'm thinking is, because they are putting out two 80s and classics releases every month, sort of, and one Tone Poet. So what I'm thinking is that this is my opportunity to buy 2 every month to just expand my Blue Note collection and my reference collection and my cultural library, you know. And there are definitely releases coming forth that I'm not interested in. But then again, I think that there's so much that I haven't bought that already are released, so I can like take one of those and order those. So getting like 1 or 2 every month, like a subscription of just a Blue Note subscription of sorts that you can control yourself. I think I'm gonna do it like that. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on this. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't. Give me questions and I'll send them to Michael right away so you can answer them, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, goodbye. And if you want more, there's a bunch of videos down here somewhere that you can click, and you will get more of this idiot and of his records and collections and stuff like that. So yeah, be my guest.